Well, hello. This is Brian from Logic Pro Hacks or FadedShadows.com. Hey, how's it going? Well, today, tonight, in the morning, or wherever you're at, this is a really cool day. Yes, that's right. All right, so we have here a template that I created, and it's based off of Mozart's piano quartet in G minor. Quartet is usually a violin, a viola, a cello, and a piano. Out of that quartet, I took a standard MIDI file that had a piano in it, and I broke it up, and I created a bass line, pads from it, synth lines, all these different instrument lines that you would normally see in a full set for like an EDM crossover kind of thing. And that's what I did here. And so I thought I would show you guys how this was made. So the first thing I would like to do is I would like to show you guys the very basic parts, and we'll build off from there. The first part is the sub. So we'll go ahead and we'll just show you the sub. And let's go ahead and make sure that these two are kicked in here. And I'll go ahead and just play it for you. Yeah, that's the heavy sub there. Hence the name, heavy sub. All right, and here's the off bass. Now, what I did with the off bass, you can see that it's hitting on every offbeat. Hence the name off bass. And what I did not want happening is I didn't want and the off bass is an octave higher than the sub, but it was clashing. So the trick of the trade here is what you do is you create a kind of like an off ghost sidechain off kick, ghost kick kind of deal, which is created in the Cleifgeist, and I created the same pattern that's the off bass. But what I did is then I had the compressor ducking the off bass. You can see there's my compressor, and it's set for bus 33, which is this is being sent to bus 33. So that way, when I didn't want the off bass and the sub clashing, so that helps. And so let's go ahead and play it and see what you guys think. So got these two enabled. So yeah, it's, and I don't have the sidechain set that much. I just have a little bit of sidechain. It's not like one of these hard slamming type sidechains. It's just enough to where it leaves enough room for the off bass to come through on the sub. And it sounds really cool in the mix when you do it that way. I have another ghost kick sidechain deal, which is for my drums. And that also helps that. And so you kind of get that doom, 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 kind of sound. Willy Wonka in the trailer. No, it's not that. Doom, doom, doom. No, it's not like that. Now, so those are the subs. Now let's go ahead and let's do the pads. And I created 3 pads. Well, the first one is an air flute. I'll go ahead and just play that for you. All right, so how this was made, I have this long ass reverb that's going on for the air flute, and it's going to bus 1. And basically, what it is, it's a tape delay, a platinum verb, and a compressor. On the compressor, I have it sidechained to bus 33, which is the off kick or the off ghost off channel. And then on the pads, I have another compressor, and it's going to bus 32, which is going to the main kick. So you kind of get this in and out effect that's going on, and which sounds really cool because you got the main air flute, which has the main sidechain on the 4 on the floor type of kick, but its reverb is actually going to a different type of sidechain. It just kind of fools with your brain a little bit, and it just really sounds cool when when it gets into it. So I really like that. So that's in this template. I really did a lot of work in the processing. Let's go ahead and play the female vox. So go ahead and just play that. The Vox Choir, or whatever you want to do it. Created from one of my synths. I have, the big reverb on channel 1. It's bus 33 off ghost. This thing right here is called a track stack. So it's in that, and it has its own different compressor. 2 different side chains going on. Zenpad is cool. I like it. This is probably one of the best pads I ever found and then tweaked and made, or whatever you want to call it. I'm using a setting from RetroSynth, and I found it in here. It's in Synth Pads, and it's the very last one, Zen Space. Now, the cool thing about this one is you notice that the detuned 7 semitones. Now, what happens there is I believe that makes a perfect fifth. Yeah, so that makes a perfect fifth from the actual root key. And what I did is I tweaked the amp envelope and the filter envelope, and then I also added more chorus. That's what I did to this setting. I think that's about it, what I did, and maybe tweak some of the the mix in here and the shape a little bit. Well, that's about it for that one. So I'll go ahead and just play that one by itself. So, as you can hear, there's a lot of movement going on, and that was the other thing that I forgot I did, is I think the original setting I had is set right here, and I changed it over here, and then also increase the LFO speed so that way, you get this movement just for 1 bar. So that is the Zenpad, and then when you put them all together, it sounds like this. Cool. Now, the neat thing is, since I have the perfect fifth on the Zenpad, we could probably move the Zenpad up right here, since it's kind of like a midline pad sound. It goes right in sync with the root, and so you kind of give this chord sound, and then I have the a higher lead sound up here for the pads. So that sounds really good. I really like the just the sound it gave. And it's not too overpowering where that's all you hear in the mix. So I got the volumes down, relatively. So those are the pads. Now, piano. Let me explain this. This is just your regular piano sound. Now, as far as the piano, there's not going to be a piano, any sampled pianos included. What I'm using here is I'm actually using the regular default piano that you get in Logic, and it's called the Yamaha Grand Piano. Now, I will leave the settings. I did tweak the settings. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll increase the drive, maybe turn on the fat, give it some more oomph. It just depends. Maybe tweak, add a little bit more tail with the release. But that's about it. And then I'll put on a compressor, and I have some compressor settings in there, and then EQ, and I'll EQ it, and that's it. That's all I did to it. Now, as far as that, you could change any piano you want. There's tons of free pianos out there that sound really decent, but I find that out of all the Logic pianos, Logic sampled pianos, that's part of Logic Pro, the Yamaha is the best sounding. They have a Bosendorfer. It just sounds like crap. And I think they have another one, if I said that right, another piano in there. It's a Steinway, and it just doesn't sound that good. The Yamaha is the best one. That's just my own personal preference. So I always use it. Now, I was using Contact a while ago, if you could ever find one. Contact had a sampled piano. It's like a German piano, August Forster. And that piano is an amazing sample. If you ever can get your hands on it, it's just a great piano. I believe they released it in Contact version 3, 2, it might have been 2. Like the latest version, like it's now at 10. You can't find it. I don't think it's in there. Not even, or 9 or 8. I don't even think it's in those either. If you can find like an old version, grab that sampled piano. It's a August Forster, best piano sampled ever. It's just my preference, but we're getting off track there. Guitars. Let's go ahead and tell you about the guitars here. All right, first guitar. Let's go ahead and you can see that I have it panned hard right. And then I have some pre-faders and regular faders. The bus 7 is going to this, and I have a EQ on it and a limiter, so it gives your amplified sound. Bus 10 is another amp, but it's on pawn shop distort, and so I got 2 amplifiers on 2 different buses, and they're both at 0 setting. You could tweak that whatever you want. And then bus 2 is a reverb. Bus 3 is a delay. It's made with the ES1. Now, you would ever think that you could use the ES1 to make a really nice guitar sound, but you can't. And let me show you something. Let's go ahead and just disable everything. Doom, doom, doom. And go ahead and just let you play it raw by itself. Check this out. And just hit play. So let me go ahead and just change that real quick so you can hear it in full stereo. Now, just the sound by itself is, it's like a plucky type sound. And the ES1 is really great for stuff like this, and a lot of people overlook the ES1. I actually find that I like to use the ES1 better than the ES2. It seems like it's just a more simpler interface. It's a little bit easier to get around. I just like it, but the ES2 is a lot more advanced. You can do more automation and all that, blah, 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 blah. But my point is, I created a guitar out of this, and it's really cool. So I just use the default sound that comes on it, and then I just tweak the cutoff, add a little bit more drive, ADSR. I think that's it, really. That's all I really did. If we go ahead and just shut that out now, if we put all the effects on, the compressor and the EQ, let's see what it sounds like now. Yeah, it's a lot louder. Put this back to the hard right, because I'll explain why I'm doing that. And put these guys back on. Those are distortion amps. And my reverb and delay. Now listen to it. So as you can hear, it doesn't really sound like it's panned anymore. Well, that's right, because what I'm doing is I'm sending the signal over to the far right, but then the signal is coming back and feeding through a stereo sound. So it's kind of like it's a little bit stronger on the right side, but I like it. So what happens then is I have this doing the same thing over here on the Telecaster, which is made from Sculpture. And it really gives this really wide sound. So listen to this. Yeah. Nice. And for the sculpture is just it's just the Telecaster setting that you find in sculpture, plucked instruments, Telecaster. I may have tweaked something. The EQ, probably, yeah, I tweaked that and then leave that on there. But I don't know if you know this, but the sculpture has this EQ in here, which is called a modeling EQ. It's a little bit different from a normal channel EQ. And what it does is it mimics the actual EQ of an instrument, and they put it in there. So I actually leave that EQ in there because it's almost like it's part of the instrument. So, and sometimes I may change it. And I honestly I can't remember if I did that or not on this one. But it sounds good right now, so I'm just going to leave it. And it's a template. And so you guys have the ability to change it if you want. And put different sounds, use different instruments, use third-party plugins, whatever you want to do. So that's the guitars. So the synths. I'm using ES2 for the first one. And it's just basically a setting I found and then just tweaked. It's called Nice Syncer. And I'll go ahead and just play that. For the synth, I don't think I have any panning on that one. And then I have the polysynth for the other lead. And that's using the retro. And it's a big polysyncer, something like that. And I really like the hard sync sound that you can get out of the retro. It just sounds really nice. And when you put that together, and I have a little reverb and delay on this one, compression, it sounds like this. Cool. So those are the synths. Now let's go ahead to the pluck. The pluck is made from the ES2. And it's basically, you take your right click on here and just basically I was just going through here and just kind of figuring out, all right, what's a good sound for a pluck? And so I got the Vox, the sax, and it's a little bit of noise, and I go like that. And then I, just change my resonance and my drive, and just add a few things. I had a pluck template that I created a while ago, and I just kind of just copied from that, and then I just tweak it until I like what I heard. And that's what I got here. And it's kind of like a stabby type sound because it has a little bit more, has some tail into it. You can see right here the release is up. And if we go ahead and just play that, this is what it sounds like. I think there's an LFO on it. Can't remember, did I put an LFO on it or not? Yeah, yep, I have an LFO. So let's go ahead. Let's just disable that just real quick. Disable all these. And see what it sounds like now. It's this one right here. That's what it was. So we could probably, maybe if you don't want so much, you could probably just take it down like that. That sounds kind of cool. We could probably automate that too. So let's go ahead and just do that real quick. Let's go ahead and, as I'm doing this videos, I realize, I can make that change and it'll even sound better. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And let's go ahead and, now the best way to automate stuff I found is go over here and change the read to something like touch. And then let it play. Let's go ahead and just play it. And then just go ahead and just move the cutoff value that you wanted to move. Just move it a little bit until you see it come up. And then before you do anything, change it back to read, because if you go ahead and make another change again, it's going to mess you up. So I changed it back to read. Now highlight it. Just hit your delete key and delete those values because we want to create our own. And now we have the value that I wanted to control, which is the cutoff 1 and 2, and on the LFO setting, which is this value right here. This is what I'm going to be automating right here, is this one right here. Put that on the side, and then what we can do here is we can do something like this. Change it like that. Now watch it. It play, watch this guy right here. And listen to it as it plays. Oh, that's so nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise up the this level just a little bit. Felt like it was just... Oh, it was going in the negative. That's why. Just keep it at 0. That's why I was doing that. I keep on forgetting the ES2 has a negative value for their LFO setting here. So let's go ahead and just do this. That sounds so nice. I love it. Let's just raise it up just a little bit more. Oh, that's so nice. And fellows, this is why I love to do tutorials, because I feel like I have a connection. You guys are a friend, and I'm talking to a long lost friend. And so when I'm talking to you and I'm explaining to you what I'm doing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that idea, why don't I just do that? And that's what I just did. So, and that's why I like doing tutorials, because it's like it opens your mind to deeper things, like, oh, why didn't I think of that? I know, that's deep. It's really deep, but that's just the way I roll. All right. So we got that going, and what we could do then is we could do something like this. We can copy that value, put it like that, and then put one more right there. And what did we say we're at? We're at 34, so we're gonna start at something around 30. Yeah, something like that. And I think you could copy this if you do something like this. You see how I'm just taking my then I highlight over it like that, and then hit Command C, go right there, and then just Command V. Yeah, that works. And go right there, Command V. Yeah, that works. And I'll just leave that right there. That'll work. And then Command V. Maybe we can drag this one out just a little bit. Oops. Out just a little bit more. Command V again. I just love the copy function on the automation, because I really hate doing automation sometimes. It's so monotonous. But when you take the monotonous out of it, you can really enjoy it, which I'm doing right now. I know, it's lame-o. All right, here we go. Another one. Yeah, that's right. Now, I'm not even sure how this is going to sound in the mix, but, I'm just going to go ahead and just leave it. And then put that, something like that. Now we can create more movement with the plucks. And, oh, that sounds so nice. So that is the mega pluck coming with you, coming at you in this template. All right. So I'll go ahead and I'll tweak those settings there for you. And oh yeah. So we got the pluck. Oh, next thing, drums. Let's go ahead and let's play some drums for you. Let's get out automation here. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I just have a regular progressive type kick made in Ultrabeat, and it's using actually 2 drums layered. You have this one, and then you have this one. There's it's not a sharp attack because I got the sharp attack on here, and so they kind of meld in there really good. So that's what I did. I did the EQ in Ultrabeat for the higher kick, and when you play it, it sounds like this. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's a nice in-your-face hard kick. So that's in this mix, in this template. Now the drums. This is probably, I've worked on these drums for a while. They actually originally came from Native Instruments had some a set, a metal set, a metal rock, heavy rock metal set. And I eventually tweaked the MIDI settings on the rock set, and then, you know, eventually got something that matched to where, you know, each segment here had a different drum rhythm, drum pattern that was going on. And go ahead and hit the X key so we can go ahead and enable all the drums. Because, yeah, this was like on. So what I'm using for drums is I'm using the Drum Designer. Did you know this? I don't know if you knew this or not, but when you create a Drum Designer, if you go in here and you hit drummer and you hit create, it's cancel, so that messed me up. I'll go ahead and just create one anyways, just to show you. Come on, create. It's taking a while. There it goes. All right, so it comes up with, you know, drummer Kyle, and you can change all the different ones. You know, Logan and all these guys, and it gives you like a profile of what each one is about. So what I did is I created one, and I believe I used Logan, Mr. Logan. And then I decided, you know what? I didn't want to use the, it'll come with this. It'll look like this. And I'm like, how in the heck can I edit this? There's no real way. Yeah, you can go in here and you can edit it like this and change all these settings. And you can also even do the drum kit to multi-out. But I still didn't have the control that I wanted, to where I wanted to have instruments here and I wanted to be able to do a hi-hat there and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you can make some really cool sounds, but I didn't want to do that. I really wanted just to do my own thing. So, did you know that you could take a regular MIDI clip, you can actually drag the MIDI clip over here, see, and it will work instead of using this, which I found very helpful because I really don't like this. It gets on my nerves. I can't really edit that. There's some other people, they may like it. I just don't. But as my point is the Drum Designer is not really an audio per se. It's MIDI. The whole thing is based on MIDI. And they're just doing something different. And sometimes different is good, sometimes different is not so good. So for me, I found a way around it where I can use MIDI with it because I really love the sets that come with it. The sets are very nice. So I'm using a birchwood set or something like that for this one. Go ahead and delete that one as for example. And let's go ahead and just turn these guys all on here. So I'm on. And you can see I have it all multied out. I have 2 channels going to bus 9, which is my snare channel. For further processing, where's bus 9? Where were we? Yeah, all right, so here's bus 9, snare group. And you can see on my snare group, I have compressor, tape delay. Now, it's not a tape delay. It's actually tape distortion or tape saturation, as you want to call it, because what I do is I play with the delay setting. I take it all off, and then I go in and I up the feedback, and then go in here. There's this advanced part, and then I tweak the distortion level. It's like your bias level, and it sounds really good on drums. So that's what I'm doing there for the tape delay. Channel EQ, limiter, and then bus 5 is drum verb. Drum verb is actually a shorter reverb for like a short reverb, and short reverbs work very well with drums. So that's what I'm doing there. So that's the snare group. Then you have the toms. The toms are on bus 12. Let's see, where is bus 12? Over here. Okay, same deal. Tape distortion or saturation, a little bit different. Compressor, limiter, same deal again. And I have compressor settings for toms. Let's see if you hear. You can see, you know, I use an opto for the toms. And then, so just meld them all together, and it sounds really good. So that's that. Let's go ahead and just play something for you. All right, let's start right here. Now, as you notice that there's no in the kick, because I took that out, because I'm actually using this kick with it. So if we go ahead and put that in here, I'll let you hear it again. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about now. Yeah, so that is some really fun stuff. I love the just the rock kit. You know, just after tweaking everything, I was able to get something really cool with the drums, and all those settings are there. Now, granted, you will have to have a drum designer, and you get all this cool stuff to work with and play with, especially if you're into classical crossover and hard rock music. So, EDM, that kind of stuff. Heck, you can even raise the BPM up. I mean, you can make this in a dubstep if you wanted to. Change it to 140. So, further ado, let's check it out. All right, have fun.